Hey everybody, it's Jimmy and Bill. Bill, what we're talking about today is, you believe it or not, I did a home inspection on a tiny home. My first one.
The little guys?
336 square feet.
Okay, interesting.
And the buyer is moving from a house that was 2,400 square feet.
Whoa.
They sold everything, and I ended up talking to them for a while after the inspection, because the inspection didn't take me that long, 336, basically.
Yeah, I mean,
it was a room.
Yeah, 10 photos.
Yeah, it was beautiful, but I was just like, you're really going from this to that, and they're like, yeah.
Interesting.
And
okay.
I said, why? And so then after they told me, I wrote down some notes, what they said, but then I did more research on why people are moving into tiny homes. And tiny homes might be good for you guys too. You never know. And there's some legit reasons. And I'm like, hey, like me, I want something out of the state. Maybe a tiny home is the way to go after doing some research into it. But that's what we're talking about.
All right.
In the meantime, we're working on something really, really cool. I don't want you guys to miss it, so consider subscribing. It really helps out the channel. And share the video and give this video a thumbs up. So, Bill, here's one of the things that a lot of people are moving into tiny homes. Affordability. Tiny homes are significantly less to purchase compared to the traditional homes. Obviously, less material.
Okay, yeah, that makes total sense.
So, somebody selling a house, just say for $300,000, these people bought this house with the land all set up, well, everything for $99,000. But so now, let's say they so they say they have $250,000 in equity. They could do, now they have a little bit of retirement money.
Right. So how big was the house?
336, I think.
336 square feet.
Yeah. But they had a bathroom, they had a little loft, they had a little kitchen. It seemed very cozy.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay. I mean, this reminds me, we had a guy at the fire department that had his good sized condo, right? He sold it and he moved to a 54 or 55 foot sailboat.
Oh, wow.
So that was a complete change, because I remember he started selling everything off, transferring all of his paper. Now, mind you, this is back when we still had a lot of paper. Digital wasn't so prevalent back then, but he started scanning everything into digital and just really downsizing his life. And I mean, it's probably been 10, 12 years, and he still lives on the sailboat.
You know what? I wouldn't mind living on a boat.
I mean, it's a big boat, man.
Some of the houseboats I've been on, they're gorgeous, and some of them are more expensive than houses.
Right. I mean, there's something to be said. He just decides to go somewhere and he puts a sail up.
In California, and New York, like in Manhattan, a lot of people live on boats because they don't have to pay the taxes. They just have to pay for the mooring fees.
Oh, interesting.
Here's another reason what they told me. They're like, hey, utilities, they're going into retirement. They said utilities are a lot less. I mean, how much can it do to air condition? They have a wall unit for an air conditioner.
Right.
If it breaks, throw it out and spend another $150 and go to Home Depot and pick one up.
Right. Or even if you want to get crazy, like a really small mini split for like a room.
Yeah.
So it's a little more efficient than maybe a wall unit, like a window shaker. And I would think that those could probably go solar.
I don't know.
Depending on how they could just do this. I wonder if that would work. That would be kind of cool too.
But, and then, the utilities, they're going to be lower all around,
Yeah.
Water's going to be like, how many bathrooms are you running? How many people can live in there?
Well, yeah, you only have probably 2 people.
Yeah. So, and another thing that these people were talking about was, just the maintenance. It's minimal. Something breaks, you fix it. It's like my house is 20 years old, and I'm telling you, one thing after another thing I had to repair or replace, and it just it
feels like a cycle.
Oh my God! I mean, you think 20-year-old house, it's like not that bad, but in 20 years, it's like they time it that everything goes. Water heater, roof, windows,
right,
garage springs. It's just
general maintenance on a house can add up quickly, especially the ladder, when you hit that 50. So make sure you save up some money, and when these things, that way when they do break, you've got the money to fix them.
And I'm not talking about a couple $100. I'm talking about thousands and thousands of dollars. you know?
Yeah. I mean, at least you knew somebody to put your water heater in for you.
Yeah, I did. I got a really good deal on that one. Here's another thing: if you're an environmentalist, you know, these tiny homes are really eco-friendly. You know, they're friendly to the environment. There's not a big footprint on them.
No, and then they don't take much to build, and yeah, financial freedom I see here is on your list. That would make sense, you know. Taxes are probably really low.
Yeah.
And like you already said, the footprint. So yeah, I mean, just if you have to fix your roof, if you have to replace your roof,
yeah, literally,
it's not even a full square.
You know, if I wasn't married and kids that come visit and all that stuff, but I really think after seeing these people and seeing this beautiful piece of land, fenced, so they have their privacy, they have a shed in the back with like a little workshop, they got their tiny home. I think I could live in a tiny home if I was single, and you know,
I could definitely do that.
You know, just live in a tiny home, do my little things and everything, and you know, cook, whatever, go to my shed to do whatever, and then travel. You know.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like a modified, advanced, super nice, not an RV, but like a fifth wheel tow behind it for your truck or something.
Yeah.
You know, where you could just, that's crazy.
And it's a simplified lifestyle. You have
Something
to admit.
to be said.
Like, you don't need to go buy that, you know, 55-inch or 65-inch TV.
Yeah, but you're not going to have your flight toy simulator thing in there and all that. But there's pros and cons, trade-offs.
Yeah, there's the pros and cons trade-off and everything. But, you know, these people, what we're going to do is they're going to close it up, you know, shut off the water, and they're going to go on a cruise because now they have money.
Yeah.
It's a simplified lifestyle. And at the end of the day, we all know we're not taking the stuff with us.
No.
We're just, you know, I always told everybody, you know, your house, everything, you're just a caregiver for now, because eventually somebody else is going to be living in that house. And you can't say, well, nobody's ever going to be living in this house except me. It's like, yeah, eventually somebody else.
Somebody will eventually.
Somebody else with a, you know. Here's another cool thing about these tiny homes, and I didn't think about it. It's like, yeah, we're going to stay here for a couple of years. And he said to me, I'm looking at some land in Georgia. I said, oh, you're going to buy another tiny home? He's like, no, I'm going to take this one, bring it over there.
There's a show on Discovery about that. Like, they pick up their tiny home and they move it.
Yeah, he said the services.
Yeah.
He says it'll cost them about $3,200. You know, I think that's cheap, but he says no. He goes on to, you put wheels on the bottom, or they go on a flatbed, depending on what kind of setup I guess it has. But he's like, no, we're just going to go set up the land, dig the well, get everything ready, and then we're going to leave all our stuff inside the tiny home, move it over there, plop it down, set it up, level it, and we're good.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really awesome.
I think that is really.
They might have to add a heater though.
They might have to add a heater. Okay. Here's a benefit. Tell me about this one. If you want a tiny home, okay, and you want it, like, because they do custom tiny homes, how long do you think it's going to take them to build a tiny home? Not that long. They had theirs built in, I think he told me, like 6-7 weeks.
That would make sense.
Soup to nuts.
Yeah.
He picked it out the way he wanted, what materials, what windows, what everything, and he's like,
here's my 390 square foot house.
so you could live in a 336 square foot house?
Yeah.
Bathroom, you know, with shower, bathtub, toilet, little loft for sleeping.
Yeah, it's basically it's like a suite on a cruise ship.
And they're built better than travel trailers because they're made out of, you know, they're built better. So the travel trailers, you know, will always start leaking, they're rocking because they're made for on the road stuff.
Yeah.
But these tiny homes, this one was pretty solid, you know. So, you know, and a lot of things where they put these things, it's like people feel like a connection to nature. Like, you can take a tiny home here, just put it between these trees right here.
That'd be good to go.
You'll be good to go.
Right downtown.
And then you can just get out, lock it up, and go have a gyro.
Perfect. I'm going to see if I can sublet some tiny home land here.
Yeah.
That would be bad. I'd be here every day. I'd be so fat. It would be ridiculous.
All right, what about this one? Reduce property taxes.
Didn't we talk about that?
No.
We did?
We said the taxes are going to be lower, but with the
Oh,
maintenance
yeah.
and everything, but the taxes. But that's a big thing. How much can they charge you on property taxes on 330 something square feet?
Right. Yeah. So you like your land plus 330 square feet. So the value of the house is significantly lower. Yeah. So your property taxes would stay pretty darn low, I would think.
Okay, so you're retiring and you're not sure where you want to retire. That's a big reason to downsize into a tiny home.
Yep.
You want a place to live. If you don't want to, if you don't want to rent, if you don't want to rent, there's actually a tiny home. Bill, it's by Spring Hill. It's north of here, and it's because I had to do research for this video, and it's 3/4 of an acre of land. Well, it's 400 square feet. Okay, but it has a shed too, and everything. But it was like $89,000.
Wow.
89 grand.
89 grand.
So easier to pay off. They have loans on them. So if you're taking a loan, it's not like you're taking an average mortgage payment.
Right. So think about this for a second. Let's I know we're talking taxes. Maybe we're jumping ahead here, but so let's say 89 grand. You take a loan out, so you got to get insurance, right? So you have to bite the bullet till you pay your 89 grand off, whatever that is. But once you pay it off, like you've talked about going bare or piecemealing your insurance together, for your regular home with fire theft liability, how much could fire theft liability be on a tiny home?
I know.
So kind of solving on your own the issue that we have particularly here in Florida with homeowners insurance.
And let's say the tiny home, is like you neglected and it falls apart, in like 10 years.
You still got your land.
You still have your land, you still have it, well, just go get another one.
Right, just put another one up because you have your land.
Yeah. And the funny thing is with these tiny homes, because you can't put a tiny home anywhere, he says this is the funny part about this land, this area over here. They don't allow mobile homes, manufactured homes, but they allow tiny homes.
Interesting. Probably because they're built a different way. Interesting.
And the other thing that they like too is that because it's a tiny home community, they are having a connection with all the other people that live in tiny homes.
So it's more like-minded people.
Like-minded people.
Yeah.
Like, I think over there was like 12 or 14 tiny homes. And yeah, it's just like they get together at night, they talk, it's
cool.
Yeah.
I think that would be really neat.
Yeah.
I'm intrigued. There's one over in Hillsborough County, kind of in the outskirts there, because I went down there for something, for an inspection or something. I went down there to do something. But yeah, I came across it, and it's just a tight-knit little group of people, and you wouldn't know that it was a tiny home community until you really got in there. But because it was fenced, and then they had some smaller houses and a pool in the middle, like a clubhouse. Like it was its own little mini subdivision.
Yeah, and what they were saying is they do a lot of stuff outdoors because obviously the inside is so small that they spend more time outside, and they have campfires, and the other people from the tiny home community, they'll come over, they'll hang out, they'll barbecue, and just have a good time. And I asked them, I said, do you miss the 2,000 square feet, 2,400 square feet? Like, no.
Interesting.
No, but right now we're financial freedom. We have a roof over our head.
Right.
And he goes, not for nothing, but if I know something really bad's coming, like a really bad hurricane, I have a connection with the people I bought it from, and they will actually hook up to this thing and move it for me.
That's crazy.
They said there's actually a hill, not a big hill, we're talking about Florida here, but a place that's much higher, and that the guy owns it, and he says they'll actually roll it up there, put it up there, and then if they know that they're going to get flooded, and then when the storm is done, they'll bring it back. So
cool.
it seems like a lot of benefits to a tiny home.
Yeah, if you can go, I think the biggest hurdle on any of this is, it sounds cool in theory, but could you live in that 330, 390-ish square feet?
You know what? I'll put a survey out.
Yeah.
And let's see what the community says about
That'd be cool.
living in a tiny home.
Yeah, let us know what you think, because that would be really, I'm curious, you know, like just kind of take away all your expectations of things. Could you live in, or better yet, measure off your rooms and see, go, okay, could I live, this is what let's call it 390 square feet. This is what 390 square feet is. Could I live in here?
Yeah.
And I say that because I did live in a dorm for a really long time that was about 340-ish square feet. And it was 2 of us in the dorm at the time. And it was relatively comfortable. You know, we had a bathroom. We didn't even have anywhere to cook, but we had a bathroom.
But you feel that if you were single and you have a little piece of land, say half acre, 3/4 of an acre, fenced off, you could live in a tiny home.
Yeah, but let's play devil's advocate a little bit here.
Mm-hmm.
So just kind of thinking this through, and let's say you just bought a piece of land and you kind of lived on your own.
Yeah.
You know, outside the main city, because we do have rules about building certain size houses. They have to be, you know, so many square feet to actually be a legitimate single family home. But that aside, let's say we bought it. Let's just take Spring Hill as an example, right? We go up, we buy an acre out in Spring Hill, and you put a tiny home on it because it'll let you pretty, you know, because you're out kind of more towards the center of the state. It's kind of an isolated existence. So you'd have to be okay with that. I think.
Some people like that stuff.
Right. But I mean, I'm just saying in general, that would be more of an isolated existence. So you'd have to think about that too. Everything would be further away.
Mm-hmm.
There's a trade-off though, always. Like I have a friend that's got a cabin up in the mountains. Not in Florida, obviously. But it's really nice there. And I could definitely go there and visit, because, you know, you've got to come out of the mountain to go down to the town, which is very, very small. And it's beautiful, but I don't know if I could live there full time. I don't know, because of the whole access down the mountain road. Got to plan ahead because it snows. But if it was here, because it's relatively quick to get, even if you had to drive 20 minutes. It's not that big of a
this
deal,
person
right?
literally had Walmart 5 minutes
That's
away
what I
from
mean.
him.
Like
yeah,
you have
he had everything.
everything.
Yeah, he had everything.
Yeah, so it's just like it's like you have to drive an extra 20 minutes. Like when I lived in Trinity, before you moved over there, when they were just developing, we didn't have the Target that you have and all the stuff.
Yeah.
You know, we had to drive 15, 20, 25 minutes to go to Publix because we didn't have one. We didn't have a Walmart, and we didn't have Target. So just we had to weigh things out, but I think I could do it.
Yeah. Huh. I think I could do it too. I really do.
Well, I'll put yours next to mine.
Yeah, as I get older, you know, I don't need the, you know, right now the reason why I'm not selling my house is because of the golden handcuffs, you know, because, you know, basically what that means is, and he keeps saying it. If I sold my house, because, you know, my taxes are low because I bought it a long time ago, but if I bought an equivalent house someplace, my tax would be over 10 grand.
And the key word there is the equivalent house. So you're just leaving one house to go to the other house for
right,
no reason.
But that's the whole thing. Is if I bought something on that price range, my taxes would be high.
Through the roof.
Through the roof. Anyways, that's today's video. Don't forget to consider subscribing. It really helps out the channel. It's very motivational for us, and we don't want you to miss what we're working on. Check out this video over here. Picked it out just for you guys. And subscribe, like I said before, share, and give it a thumbs up, and we'll talk to you in the next one.
See you on the next video.
Thank
Thanks.
you.